get used to sitting with discomfort. I think that we're taught from an early age, we're almost brainwashed to be happy, don't be sad, don't cry, come on, cheer up. We're all going to face uncertainty, doubt, fear, anguish, grief, heartbreak, upset, disappointment. We're all going to face these things in life. They're going to come for us. And when they do, it's important to respond to them with flexibility. So instead of anxiety or panic or resistance, noticing our experience, naming it, and accepting it for what it is. After that, we can respond to it with skill, with flexibility, and with mindfulness.
Hello and welcome back to How to Adult, the series where we teach you the life skills you were never formally taught. Today's episode is about mental health, and I have with me Dr. Christian Perrin, a forensic psychologist and mental health expert, who will speak to us about mental health. To begin with, I'd like to ask you, in your opinion, what are the things that people in their 20s struggle with the most?
They probably struggle with transition. At that age, we're all going through transitional experiences. We're stepping into education. We're trying to solidify our career objectives and goals. We're establishing our friendship group and we're concretizing elements of our identity. We're becoming who we're going to be. Transition brings uncertainty, pressure, comparison, and I think in an era of constant change generally and social media, it can be quite difficult to manage that pressure.
So, I'd love to know some of your best tips on how to navigate mental health problems as a 20-something-year-old.
Number one is to get the basics right. Sleep, eating well, exercising when you can, and just taking care of those routines that we know to be so important. Second thing, I would say, breathe. Anybody who's not practicing some sort of meditation should look into it. Just stopping if you feel overwhelmed or anxiety and breathing using the 7-11 breathing format. So in for 7, through your nose for 7 seconds and out for 11. And doing that 10 times can change your state and can be really useful. Another really useful tool, which is similar, but for those who don't want to breathe or don't find the breathing useful, is just to notice 5 things around you. Name 5 things that you see, and then name 4 things that you can hear, and then 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can taste, and 1 thing you can touch. So you can use your senses to root yourself to the present moment.
Yeah.
In psychotherapy, we call it dropping anchor. It's about dropping the anchor and waiting for the storm to pass so that you can navigate from a position of strength. Most people, when they struggle with discomfort, they make it worse. And that's because humans don't process negative commands very well. So by struggling against bad or sad feelings, we're often making them worse. So when I say move towards acceptance and sit with the discomfort, what I'm saying is notice that it's there instead of trying to resist and pretend it's not there. Because whatever we suppress expands. It's a bit like holding a balloon underwater. It takes your energy, you have to keep holding it there, and as soon as you let go, it flies above the water anyway. That's like suppression. Instead, we can sit there in the water with the balloon afloat. It's still there with us, but we're mindful, we're allowing it, and as a consequence, we can navigate with skill and flexibility.
Yeah, let the balloon float.
Yeah. Another thing that's crucially important is to be aware of isolating. I think when people become anxious or when they're facing discomfort, there is a tendency to isolate.
That's true.
Yeah, and can only make things worse. There's a statistic out there, or there's a fact out there, that social loneliness is a bigger killer than heart disease. We're social creatures. We need to be out in the open. We need to be with others. We need to be sharing things with others. We certainly need to be sharing our mental distress with others. And so I think if there is a tendency to isolate, just try and do small little things that bring you into contact with people. Have your close friends. Keep a small but close circle, and make sure that you use that support network when it's needed. If you feel scared to tell people about how you feel, at least just be with others. You don't have to disclose how you feel, but just being with others and in other people's presence can be comforting. And one of the final things I would say that is really important is to know what your values are. A value is how you want to behave. So honesty, loyalty, friendly, compassionate, kind. These are values. If you know what your values are, you can then start to think about little behaviors that you can do each day that take you towards your values. And you can also be aware of the things that you do that take you away from your values. And we can call that your desired self, the person who you desire to be like, or your feared self, the person you fear being like. And it's hard to have good mental health when you're not behaving like your true self.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of How to Adult that is all about mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media at thenationalnews.com, where we will share more episodes. Thank you, and I will see you very soon.